Hello, girls. Welcome to Module 1 of Own Your Gorgeous. Structure is sexy. Today, I'm going to do a calendar tutorial for you, and you'll also set up your morning ritual. That'll be in a separate video. I'm going to show you how to use Google Calendar, and I know you might have some other calendaring ways that you do it, but I would encourage you to adopt this system. And if you do not want to switch to Google Calendar, that's totally okay, but you will still get a lot out of this video because there's a lot more to it than just what calendar system you use. One time I had a coach who taught me the art of calendaring and blocking out time for myself, for activities, pre-planning things in advance, and it was such a game changer for me. So let me just talk about the why behind calendaring for a few minutes. Before I had a practice, I always felt like I was never really getting anything done. I had to-do lists and I got errands completed, but none of that stuff was really making an impact on my life. I noticed it was just keeping me busy. And I was always in reaction instead of being at the cause. So I was doing everything last minute. I never really committed to anything in advance. So when the time came to get tickets or reserve a time for something, to make my appointment or what have you, I would find myself a little bit stressed or just kind of scrambling at the last minute. And I also didn't have any time for myself because I wasn't making any. I wasn't reserving any for myself. And that's what I mean about always being in reaction. You know, if there would be some time in the week that I might work out or do something for myself, but if that time popped up, I was usually so tired from doing the other things that, you know, working out or getting a massage, that self-care, that self-preservation wasn't really at the forefront of my mind. So in this first week, we are laying down the foundation to build on here in Own Your Gorgeous. And this is going to help you have more control and more freedom because structure creates freedom. And who doesn't want a little more freedom and control? Let's be honest. So, for example, I know that let's see, let me get out my calendar. I know that I don't see massage clients on Monday or Tuesday evenings because that's family time. And every other Thursday or every other, usually Saturday, one of those two, that's Travis and my time together. And so having your own little rules and structures for your calendar so that when things come up, you know what your boundaries are. And if having boundaries isn't something you've really been practicing, then you will get a chance to practice it here. For another example, Sunday, that's always like a rest, self-care, family fun day. That's the vibe that I like to have on Sunday. And so that's my intention. So I promise you that when you implement the system and make it your own, once you become very intentional with your time, your whole life starts to feel differently. Structure creates freedom. Please remember that. And when you have boundaries too, you won't find yourself in a state of reaction or never having time for yourself. So with that being said, let me get right to the calendar. And, you know, this might take some time to set up in the beginning, but you will get so much more accomplished in the long run. And it's so often that we get caught up in busy work, you know, that to-do list, these errands that we don't really, I mean, we get our errands done, but how big of an impact does that make on our life? You know, we want to move our lives forward. And I want you to start thinking of it as the thing that will give you the most freedom, okay? Once you know what goes where. And you can already see from my Google Calendar here. Let's see here. What's happening? Okay, here we go. So you can see these little time blocks. So the calendars are over here, and you can set a color for each category. The way if you want to set a color, you would click this little arrow here on the right. You can choose one of these colors or edit color, and you can make it your own custom color. You know, if you want a little bit darker, you want to change it to something just completely different. Okay. You want to make sure that the color is shown here. If not, let's do this one so you can see what happens. Then your calendar, if you go to your calendar and wonder what happened, where did everything go, make sure that you check over here and make sure that the color is highlighted. So these are my categories. I have my basic calendar. If you don't change the calendar once you're putting in your activity, everything will fall under, it'll probably be your name. I have birthdays and anniversaries. The next one is family. So anything that has to do with family would go under here. Family time, vacations, anything like that. This holistic hottie. This is anything self-care, fitness, anything for myself. I even have a little laser hair removal coming up here that falls under that category. The next, massage and body work. So these are where I know that the blue is a massage appointment. The teal is the Own Your Gorgeous calls, or anything that has to do with Own Your Gorgeous, whether I'm going to set aside time to create content. And then this one down here at the bottom is social events. So even like date night or something like that, I would probably put that under family or my Gina Giro. And that is something that you get to have fun with and decide how you'll do that yourself. So I talked before, let me go to the next week because it's a little bit not quite as busy. So just at first to remind myself, I would put the vibe that I wanted, like what is my intention for Sunday? So if I click on it, you can see that Sunday is meal prep, fun, and a self-care day. So that's the vibe of Sunday. Monday would have a different vibe. I used to call this Eat the Frog Day. So, you know, Mark Twain has that quote, if you eat the frog first thing in the morning, that will probably be the worst thing you do all day. And so if I had something that I know needs to get done that I'm really not wanting to, or it's the kind of thing I'd really rather push off, I would make that time to do that here on Monday. So I maybe wouldn't put in Eat the Frog, but it might be, can't really think of something that I don't want to do, but let's say it's just something, it's a big task. So I'm going to create content for gorgeous women in the world. Okay. So this would be under Own Your Gorgeous. I know that I'm going to block out that time for myself. So you would just hit create. And that Eat the Frog, that's not necessarily something that you don't want to do. It's just that big task that, how am I going to get this done? All right. I know that later on from 7 to 8, Ava has dance. So instead of, you know, just writing take Ava to dance, that might sound a little tedious and boring. I might say quality time with Ava. Dance mom, yay. So it's just something cute. It keeps, okay, I'm going to put this right here under family. The reason why I put this here is that I want you to think about this. Instead of asking yourself, what do I have to do this week? You always want to be thinking, what is my intention? Because right here, for instance, take Ava to dance every week. That just, you know, it doesn't really sound that exciting. It sounds like an errand. It sounds like another thing that I have to do on Monday, another person to take care of. But if I change the wording to quality time with Ava, dance mom, yay, like that reminds my brain that this isn't just about running a kid up to dance and waiting for her to get done for an hour so I can get back home. This is quality time with Ava. That's an hour, or actually an hour and a half, that I can have blocked off with drive time and to watch her, and I can bring a book or something, my computer, something that I can work on. Okay, you don't want to really be caught with having nothing to do. So I've got this, but there are other things that I could edit. For instance, I want to put in the drive time. So you click right here on edit event and it'll come up. So this is where I could repeat it. And I know that this is going to be every Monday. You can end it never. You can end it after, 35 occurrences, or let's say if it's about, 3 months, you could put in ends after 12 occurrences or on a certain day. So I know that dance at least goes through April. So we'll just put it, it'll end on April 2nd. Done. It's under the family time. You can right here under where put in the location. That way you'll get those notifications. If you have an iPhone, I believe, I'm not sure how it is on Android, but you'll get a notification when it becomes time to leave. Right? So I've got that all set up one time. I click save. And then if I go to next week, there it is. If I go to the next week, boom, there it is. So while we're looking at yellow, right over here, there's that family dinner. So this is my family. So can you see how having the color blocks can kind of, it's like so that your left brain can get in on this a little bit. So it's not so right-brained. I like to be creative with the calendar. You can see here, emojis make me really happy. I'll probably send emojis on all of my Facebook posts or text messages to you girls. So anything I can do to get a feeling. All right, so that's enough with the family. Let's talk about more this holistic hottie. This is one of my favorite categories because this is where I reserve my time for myself. For instance, from 6 to 7, this is, I don't just call it wake up or get up or start day. Again, I want to remember what is my intention here. So I'm going to rise and shine. See the kids, walk Monkey, that's my dog, and send them off to school with love. And that is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They're not here with us the other days. After that, because from 6 to 7, I know that that is time for them, but I still have this whole hour and a half until I need to be anywhere. So what I can do is say from 7 to 8, HIIT, HIIT, high intensity intervals. I'll say hit the gym. Or you could say hit the weights. If you wanted to add an emoji, you can. Sometimes, like for something like this, I'd probably do the bikini. Where is she? Or a lot of the times I'll do the Own Your Gorgeous Girl. Hit the weights. Okay? Instead of it going under Gina Giro, that'll make it purple. I want to remind myself that I am a holistic hottie. Okay? So then right there. If I needed that extra time, travel to work. That would fall under Trinity Wellness and Create. Right? You can always slide that right there. Oops. Okay. So what I want you most to take away from this video is, instead of asking yourself, what do I need to do? Start thinking, what is my outcome? That will give you, it'll give your brain that focus that it needs to remember that you're not just running errands, you're spending quality time with somebody. Or if you know that you have a 30-minute drive, 45 minutes up to the airport to pick somebody up or to an appointment, you know that that's a half an hour that you're going to be in the car. If you, let's say, were wanting to listen to a book that you hadn't had a chance to, or wanted to use that time for your mindset, or to listen to a podcast on self-love, self-care, something that you want to get educated in. Maybe it's a different area of traveling or relationship or spirituality. Then you can use that time where it's not going to take you any extra time. You don't have to separate yourself from your family or work to take that time for you. You're going to be in the car driving anyway. So I always take that opportunity to listen to something that would feed my mind. If it takes no extra time, then you'll hear me refer to net time. No extra time. I am a big believer in that, and I talk about it quite a bit. Okay, so let's say, for instance, it's not always, rise and shine at 6 in the morning. If I want to schedule in, let's say maybe after a date night from 7:30 to 9, a slow, long wake up with my love. Now, this is not to say that you have to be so goal-oriented that, we'll call that's definitely a personal one. You don't have to be so goal-oriented that everything's constantly about achieving, but when you are organized in this way, you can relax so much because you don't feel that you have the weight of the world on your shoulders. I can clearly see that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 workouts scheduled this week. So come Tuesday, no, even better, come Wednesday, when I hadn't worked out in a couple days, I don't have to have that anxiety about, I'm not taking care of myself. As women, it's like we're so used to taking care of other people, but it can be harmful to your health, to your vitality, to your state of well-being to constantly neglect yourself. So it's like, okay, good. I can clearly see with all the red here, I am well taken care of. I can see here with the yellow, I've got quality time with the kids. I've got family dinner time, quality time with Ava right here. Okay, my family is taken care of. Clearly, if we had a date night right here, we're still, celebrating that morning. And this is just how I have it in the calendar so that I know that it's okay to sleep in for a little while. I mean, I could even move this down here if we don't have anything else going on. Because Sunday is definitely a play day. That's not a day that we already have the kids. So I just want you to understand how this can really calm a lot of anxieties I think that women have of trying to do everything at once. When you can sit back and organize your schedule and your life in a way like this, it creates so much more freedom and so much just less anxiety. The other thing is, if you have some sort of custody schedule, definitely just put that in, and then you can create you can just make the schedule. So it's something that goes on the top of the calendar. It doesn't show up on the hourly. That's what the all day is here. And then when you repeat it, it's every other week, or, whatever that is for you. Okay. So that is it, loves. I really hope that you got something out of this and that you will just try to adopt this for at least a couple months, see how it goes. I promise that when you can adopt this, it will create so much more freedom in your life when you have that structure. All right, I will see you on the next video when I will talk to you about setting up your morning routine.